All right, so next I'd like to talk about a very special student of mine, Kaia Abernethy. I had the honor of being Kaia's violin teacher from March 2020 to January 2022. When I first met Kaia and Chris, Kaia's mom, I was in the middle of nursing school and was very hesitant to take on new students. So I had Kaia and Chris come in for an observation lesson so they could see how much work learning the violin entails and discourage them from taking lessons with me. But the opposite happened. Kaia was shy for like 0.7 seconds, and then she completely leaned into the lesson, her eyes wide with wonder at seeing a real violin up close. I knew immediately that she was special. Her eagerness to learn, her optimism, her obvious determination and strength convinced me that she could overcome any challenges. And challenges came immediately. After our first in-person lesson, we switched to Zoom lessons as COVID shut the world down. And no matter what, Kaia would show up week after week, sitting in her blue velvet chair, eager to learn about the bunny bow hold, pinky push-ups, and a whisper too, patiently following her mom's instructions with the goal of being like Lindsay Sterling one day. That is not to say our lessons were not without distraction. One of my favorite memories is of her randomly hopping around the living room floor declaring, "I'm a wolf, I'm a wolf," in the middle of a lesson. Kaia was a goofball. Here's proof. You can see her on the far right-hand corner with the best silly face ever. Next slide. Oh, I just like this photo because this is from one of our Zoom lessons, and they're showing off, her and her sister Thea are showing off their Raya dolls. They love to do show and tell before we start our lesson. Next slide. This is during one of our outdoor lessons. So, sorry, I'm really cold. I'm just going to grab a jacket. So as the pandemic progressed, we moved to outdoor in-person lessons. During these lessons, I got to see what a gentle, loving, and generous older sister she was. She loved her little sister Thea with her whole heart, always involving her, playing with her, and sharing with her. They were kindred spirits. During one of our outdoor lessons, Kaia spotted a monarch butterfly. She immediately stopped playing the violin, obviously, and went to chase after it with Thea and Chris in tow. The butterfly was magical to her. That's one of the things that I loved about Kaia. She saw beauty and magic in the little things. Butterflies, rainbows, invisible leprechauns, things that most of us don't even notice. I mean, there's an invisible leprechaun right there. Don't you see it? Next slide, please. So Kaia was always braver than we thought. In June of 2021, Kaia had her very first recital on 3rd Street Promenade. She was feeling a bit shy, as you can see. This is during our run-through. So her mom, Chris, and I both agreed that if she was too nervous, we wouldn't push her. But when it came to the actual performance, she bravely marched on stage and said loudly into the microphone, "Hi, my name is Kaia, and today I'll be playing Chicken on a Fence Post." And she played her song boldly and beautifully, and when she finished, she had flashed a huge smile to her dad, who was taking photos for us that day, and who took all the photos you're about to see. She was always surprising us like that. So you can see here, she's playing, and she's got a little smile on her face. Yep. And she's done. Oh, thank God. And then look at her smile. I love this smile. She's like, I did it. So cute. Can we also take a moment to admire Chris's photography skills? Okay. So, sorry. Later that summer, I noticed that Kaia's balance was off and that her gaze would deviate to the side. I wasn't sure what it was, but I knew it wasn't normal, even for a wiggly 6-year-old. After a series of MRIs, Kaia was diagnosed with diffuse intrinsic pontine gliomas, DIPG, a rare type of brain cancer with a survival rate of 0%. Median survival rate is about 11 months from diagnosis. And here comes the incredible part. Even after this, Kaia and Chris still wanted to continue lessons. So we did. Whenever Kaia was feeling strong enough between chemo and clinical trials and experimental therapies, we would schedule a lesson in. Her mom, Chris, was amazing through all this, so supportive, never pushing, but always encouraging. For a while, I tried to make the lessons different from my usual lessons, trying my best to do like musical therapy or storytelling, but Kaia didn't want any of that fluff. She just wanted to continue the Suzuki method. She wanted to learn Twinkle Twinkle, Variation B, the next song. She didn't want pity or sympathy or to be treated differently. She just wanted to live her normal life, to keep progressing, to keep learning, to keep going. Even as her body changed, as she lost balance and motor function and control, she wanted to keep learning, to keep experiencing life, to keep living. Last Christmas, in the midst of chemo and steroid treatments, Kaia decided she wanted to make a video for the recital. In her little red dress, lipstick, and shoes, Kaia glowed as she played Twinkle Twinkle Little Star Variation A with beautiful tone, accuracy, focus, and sheer determination. What you don't see in the video is how her parents had a chair ready for her to sit on immediately after she was done playing. How it took all her strength and effort to stand for those 2 minutes. How much love and support and encouragement from her parents went into making that video. I'd like to play the clip for you now. Our last lesson was January 22nd, 2022. Kaia kept learning the violin and doing her best until she physically lost the ability to hold it up. I want you all to think about this for a second. This little girl continued to practice and learn violin even as she was dying. That's how much she wanted it. How many of us can say we even have a fraction of that determination and strength when it comes to doing anything? Kaia was one of the strongest, most kind, most loving, and most courageous little girls that I have ever known. I credit her parents with this, who loved her unconditionally and raised her to be the beautiful girl she was. She was a strong and brave warrior until the end. On September 3rd, 2022, as Kaia transitioned from this world to the next, Kaia's parents graciously allowed me to come and say goodbye and play a few songs for her. Thank you for allowing me to share space with you in those precious last moments. They say that times of hardship reveal who you truly are. And I have seen just how kind and generous and brave and empathetic Kaia's parents are. How much of Kaia lives on through them. Even as they are still grieving the loss of their own daughter, they are helping other families with new DIPG diagnosis, guiding them through the complicated and convoluted world of clinical trials, experimental therapies, and more importantly, providing them emotional support. They've donated to this organization you see here, Tough Together Against DIPG, an organization that funds research for DIPG and provides support for financial needs of families with DIPG, as well as raised awareness for the S1521, everyone write it down, S1521, Gabriella Miller Kids First Research Act 2.0. This is a act that they are trying to get passed through Congress to provide more funding for pediatric cancer. Pediatric cancer receives like no funding, like none at all, like very little funding from the government. So S1521, Gabriella Miller Kids First Research Act 2.0. They continue to be strong and brave warriors even though they have lost so much. Kaia was here last Christmas. She wanted to see everyone, so she came by before the concert started. Some of you may have seen her. She had to leave early because she wasn't feeling well, but she was here. This Christmas looks very different, especially for her family. I cannot even begin to imagine how hard this season has been, and I am so sorry for your loss. Please know you're not alone. Your family's in my prayers and in the prayers of so many. Being entrusted with a child's musical journey and character development is not a task I take lightly. I try through music lessons to teach not only about violin, but also as much as I can about life, whether it's discipline, hard work, picking yourself up back after a failure, doing the best you can with the time you have, rolling with it, being adaptable, things like that. But with Kaia, she taught me more than I could have ever taught her. She taught me to find the beauty in the everyday little things, to keep learning and going, even when it seems impossible. This week was nothing compared to what she went through. And to always love with your whole heart. So thank you, Kaia, for teaching me how to live with abundant kindness, to see the beauty in the little things, and to always believe in magic. And thank you for drawing me this beautiful rainbow, which I will keep on my wall forever. Here is a little instrumental piece I wrote for Kaia called Chasing Rainbows.